Do not miss out on Mamelodi Sundowns versus Orlando Pirates this Saturday, 23 August at 2 p.m. live on SABC1 and SABC Plus. Also available on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
This week on FC Meets, Kisetso and Bandile are joined by journalist and sports broadcasting rising star Mpumi Manyisi. She bears all about her journey through the world of sport journalism and shares insight on retaining integrity and breaking stories. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 this Saturday, 23 August at 6 p.m. Also available on SABC Plus. FC Meets. Football made for community by community. Rechencha Game. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Bongiwe Zwane on SAFM.
Let's quickly go to this now. The Department of Science, Technology and Innovation will honor the country's top scientists at the South African Women in Science Awards. Sakina is standing by covering this particular story for us. Sakina, I do understand you have the Deputy Director responsible for emerging researchers programs.
Indeed, Bongiwe, I do. Thanks so much for coming to us. It's such an exciting moment here in Bloemfontein. And this, of course, the flagship awards that the department hands out to women in science, young women, established women in the fields of science, technology, and innovation. And I must just say, Bongiwe, just looking at the finalists and the work that they've done, it is absolutely mind-blowing. But of course, the 2025 edition of SAWISA, the South African Women in Science Awards, taking place this evening, the awards part of it. SABC News, Bongiwe, by the way, will carry parts of it, especially the awards section. Also, the Deputy Minister, Ms. Gina, she will be our host this evening, and that part will be taken live as well. But as you said, I am also here with Dr. Maputi Madira, who is the Deputy Director at DSTI, responsible for emerging research programs. And thanks so much, Dr. Madira, for speaking to us. This, of course, is something that you are intimately involved with. And let's talk about the process first and foremost, in terms of how we got to tonight, the process of scientists, women scientists sending in their work, and how you arrived at the finalists.
Thank you so much, Sakina, for that question. Good afternoon, everyone. The process of selection starts when we take out a call early in the year. We take out a call to all research entities, universities, and everyone else who has access to our platforms. And with that process, we open it up for anyone who is eligible. So South African citizens as well as permanent residents are eligible to apply. And we look for master's, doctoral students, as well as emerging and established researchers. And we look for people that will showcase their research outputs. We also look for people that will show us their track record in terms of student supervision, in terms of mentoring, and as well as their teaching experiences. And that process ends around June. Then we get an adjudication that is subject specific, and they will look at all the applications that we receive. With this year, we received tons and tons of amazing work from our researchers, and we managed to select 30 finalists from that list. And today we are here celebrating those finalists this evening.
And I can tell you it's absolutely amazing work. But of course, tomorrow morning, we'll also have a panel discussion on Morning Live on SABC. And you will also be launching a book.
Yes, we are. We are very excited about that. We are celebrating 2 decades of existence. Sawisa was established in 2003, and we will be launching, or rather showcasing, 40 of our alumni from 2003, celebrating 20 years of inspiring South African women in science. So tomorrow we'll be launching that booklet. It will be available in our social media. You will just follow the link and read these amazing stories and journeys of our scientists over time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maputi Matika. And of course, as Bongiwe, we also tonight will be streaming on the SABC Plus platform. So it's just an amazing opportunity to watch women in science and all the amazing work that they do. And hopefully this will act as inspiration for other young girls who will be watching, that they could aspire to be here, and great prizes as well to be handed out to all the winners. So Bongiwe, we'll be seeing you tonight on SABC News. You will be on tonight, and hopefully we'll be crossing into your show.
Definitely, Sakina. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this excellence, and also looking forward to that panel discussion on Morning Live tomorrow. Sakina Kamwendo live for us in Bloemfontein. We'll bring you more of that as SABC News. It's after 1 o'clock. The news with Ondelambana.
Thank you, Bongi and the team. On the top stories, 7 municipality mayors removed in the Free State, and Didiza defends the Parliamentary Legal Services Unit. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good day. The ANC in the Free State has resolved to remove 7 municipal mayors, speakers and chief whips. The affected municipalities are Mafube, Muqaga, Litzimeng, Nketuana, Nala, Masulunyana and Lijwelubudzwa. National Assembly Speaker Toko Didiza has defended the Parliamentary Legal Services Unit from criticism by some of the members of Parliament. The unit was criticised during the draft of the terms of reference of the ad hoc committee established to investigate allegations made by the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Some of the MPs were not satisfied with the drafting of the terms of reference by the legal unit, including the quality of the legal opinion provided. Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Mutapo elaborates.
It must be emphasized that our legal advisors are not merely administrative staff members of Parliament, but they are officers of the court as well, guided by the Legal Practice Act and the Legal Practice Council. And their professionalism, competence and integrity have stood the test of constitutional legal scrutiny for many years. While members may not always agree with their opinions, and members indeed are entitled to do so, disagreements should never translate into personal attacks on their dignity or credibility. To cast aspersions on them is not only unjust to the individual legal advisors concerned, but it also undermines the credibility of Parliament and its oversight processes, such as the one currently before the ad hoc committee.
Police have launched a manhunt for a group of 9 men following a business robbery at a fuel station at Fort Jackson near Mdantsane in the Eastern Cape. It is alleged that 3 of the 9 armed men charged towards a motorist and a petrol attendant who was assisting him. They opened fire at a passenger who escaped without any injuries. Police spokesperson Nobuntu Gandana says the victims were forced inside the store with other employees. Gandana says the suspects proceeded to blast open a safe and an ATM.
An undisclosed amount of cash was stolen before the suspects fled the scene in their vehicle. No arrests have been made at this stage. A case with the following charges has been opened for investigation: business robbery, contravention of the Explosive Act, attempted murder, and robbery with a firearm. We appeal to anyone with information that can lead to the identification and arrest of the suspects to contact the Vulindlela SAPS or Crime Stop on 08600 10111 or to send information via the MySAPS app.
The South African Police Service has destroyed drugs and unauthorized medicine worth over 400 million rand at an undisclosed location in Gauteng. The drugs were confiscated in different parts of the country, including OR Tambo International Airport and KwaZulu-Natal. Addressing the media, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula says in the past 3 years, over 5.3 billion rand worth of drugs have been destroyed. He says the fight against drugs continues as they are destroying communities.
We meet here today for a critical purpose to send a clear and unwavering message that South African Police Service will not tolerate profit from poisoning our communities through drugs and illicit substances. This destruction is just not symbolic, it is a powerful demonstration of our ongoing efforts to dismantle illicit drug trade and to safeguard the health and safety and the future of our nation.
A City of Cape Town Council meeting is set to vote today to approve the final release of a new social housing plot allocated on the edge of District 6 and the CBD. Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says the housing project is expected to accommodate 237 families, an increase from the initial 180 units.
This is a 3,500 square meter property. The property is close to schools. It's mere blocks away from the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and you have the entire city centre with all of its jobs and economic opportunities right on your doorstep. So this is the kind of address that can change people's lives for the better and open up entire new avenues of opportunity for them. And by guaranteeing a large number of subsidised social housing units as part of this development, we can make sure that this prime property serves Cape Townians well.
Former Minister of Finance Trevor Manuel has been appointed chairman of the local organising committee board for the 2027 ICC Cricket World Cup to be hosted by South Africa. Cricket South Africa will announce the other members of the local organising committee today at a media briefing currently underway at their headquarters in Houghton in Johannesburg. The briefing is being attended by, among others, the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie, and Cricket South Africa President Ryan Richards. Namibia and Zimbabwe will also host matches during the 2027 Cricket World Cup. Recapping the top story, the ANC in the Free State has resolved to remove 7 municipal mayors, speakers and chief whips. I'm Mondilambana for SAFM News Headlines at 1:30.
The Bees want to impress their home crowd. They are digging deep for their first victory of the 2025-26 season. Meanwhile, the Villains are also chasing their first victory after a 0-0 draw in their league opener.
He brought it towards Ollie Watkins and he touched it home. Ollie Watkins breaks the record.
This is the Premier League. Witness Brentford FC and Aston Villa this Saturday, 23 August at 3:30 p.m. Live on SABC3 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Think about 6 years ago, when Amapiano was just a musical instrument, when streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online, and remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
This Women's Month, SAFM stands with the women shaping South Africa's future. Under the theme, Building Resilient Economies for All, we honor the pioneers, the problem solvers, and the everyday heroes driving change. Stay tuned as SAFM brings you powerful stories and meaningful conversations that move us. SAFM, celebrating women, celebrating progress. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
afternoon on a little bit of an upbeat tempo today with KB Mamusadi coming through as we kick off the show, and she is going to be in the Mbira stage at the Joy of Jazz. El Musica is this incredible dance classic featuring Ocean Lade on this particular project, taking us back to around 2005, 2006, if I'm not mistaken. We have a jam-packed show for you today. By the way, good afternoon. How are you doing? Where are my manners? How are you doing on this fine day? We have a jam-packed show today, lots to converse and reflect on. We are going to beginning with a reflective conversation. Saturday marks 4 years on the murder of Babita Deokaran, who, you know, of course, was the whistleblower who was murdered for reporting corruption at the Gauteng Department of Health. So we're going to be having a conversation with the anti-corruption activist Ali Guli around Babita Deokaran and the lessons surrounding her death. And where are we right now when we're having a conversation on whistleblowers and how we begin to protect them in the country? So that conversation is coming up. We also are then going to be celebrating, it's South Africa's largest cultural celebration, which is returning, the OTT India Day 2025. We'll find out more what's there to be showcased, nearly 8 decades of Indian heritage. So we'll have that conversation in the first hour, and then on the other side of 2 o'clock, because it's Thursday, we have our legal corner coming up after 2. And there's been this conversation that seems to be finding some kind of traction, around our social settings, at least, that speaks to Lesotho's territorial claims. So we'll find out the merits of that and the legalities surrounding that, and how possible that might be in the near or distant future. So that is coming up. It is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on SAFM. 086 000 2032 is the number that you can call us on, and 061 410 4107 is our WhatsApp line.
Keeping your family healthy this winter can feel like a daunting task. Try the Lung Shield range. It includes capsules to support healthy lungs and immunity, a syrup for kids that supports the immune system and promotes lung health, and an effervescent with 13 essential ingredients to optimize immune function. Put your family's health first this winter with the Lung Shield range. Available without a prescription at leading pharmacies. Lung Shield, prescribed by doctors, recommended by pharmacists.
From the shows that bring us laughter to the moments that inspire us, your SABC TV license makes it all possible. Every license paid supports local stories, top talent, and the programs that unite South Africa. Pay your TV license today. Visit tvlic.co.za or your nearest retail outlet. Hashtag your screen, your story. Together, we make it happen.
SAFM celebrates its 89th birthday this month by giving listeners an exclusive opportunity to attend the prestigious Joy of Jazz, taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre from the 26th to the 28th of September 2025. To stand a chance to win these sought-after tickets, simply SMS SAFM 89 followed by your name to 41391 and stay tuned to SAFM as we could be calling you. SAFM is the official media partner for the Dipala stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Entries open from the 7th of August and close on the 31st of August 2025. Winners will be randomly selected and called from the 1st of September 2025. SMSs are charged at R1.50 per SMS. Free SMSs and SMS bundles do not apply. T's and C's apply. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
It is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on this Thursday afternoon. And we begin the conversations today by reflecting back on the life as well as the work and sacrifice of Babita Deokaran, who shall be remembered on Saturday. Saturday marks 4 years of her murder. As you know, she was a South African whistleblower that was murdered for reporting corruption at the Gauteng Department of Health, where she was working as an acting chief director, financial accounting officer. And she was shot and fatally killed one morning at around 8 o'clock one August morning while she was returning home from dropping off her daughter at school. A vehicle pulled up alongside her, fired multiple shots after she had parked in front of her home, and ultimately killed her, murdered. Like I said, Saturday marks 4 years after her assassination, and we're catching up with Ali Gule now, who's an anti-corruption activist. Ali, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Bridget, and good afternoon to your listeners as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. I guess before we even speak, around other matters, let's just reflect back on Babita Deokaran, who was murdered. A mom, a working mom who was doing the best for herself, her family, country, and community, and brutally murdered for just doing her job.
This is the sad reality, Bridget, that happens in the country. Mostly that more often than not, whistleblowers go through. However, notwithstanding that statement, we still support and stand by all whistleblowers and potential whistleblowers to encourage them, wherever they are employed, to stand up and be counted against any wrongdoing. Because if we let go of culprits who are involved mostly in any form of criminality or corruption, before we know it, our future generation won't have a country. It's either we destroy corruption or corruption will destroy us. Despite all the difficulties they are facing, we continue to support all of us to do something about corruption. You can report it anonymously, but sometimes they pay the ultimate price, which is not a good one, which Babita Deokaran also suffered.
How far, Ali, have we come to ensure justice is attained for Babita?
Not much has been attained, but let us mention that the fight has been slightly won because the 6 guys who were involved, the hitmen, have been are behind the bars, have been prosecuted. However, the war for her justice is far from over because hitmen don't hire themselves. Those that hired the hitmen have not been identified and arrested. That is where the lack of justice still prevails because we don't know who is the paymaster or the paymasters.
I would assume that becomes part of the big problem when it comes to solving cases like this, is getting to that paymaster. How do we ensure we get to the head of the snake?
Look, every case has its own merits. We have seen with various state officials who have been murdered, the case differs from one to the other. Recently, we had the head of accounting officer in Ekurhuleni who has been murdered. When we count the number of whistleblowers that have been murdered, we've got a few of them, and 1 or 2 have disappeared. But let us stick to this one at hand regarding Babita. This year, as you in your introduction pointed out, on Saturday, we are commemorating her for the 4th time. At least we are remembering her with some hope of optimism that something will happen. We are all aware what happened since that explosive press conference by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. A lot of things have come out, but we do not want to put the cart before the horse. We are both watching the court cases and the President's Appointment Commission, and we remain optimistic that this time something will come out. We don't want to preempt anything, but we are following all the stories with keen interest, because some of the names that were mentioned when she was murdered are also mentioned in what Mkhwanazi has pointed out, and there are cases in court, there are investigations, there's a commission of inquiry. We remain hopeful that something will happen, but let me sneak in that you remember that 2 fires happened in Tembisa Hospital, and which the law enforcement agencies suspect they were deliberate, and because not the entire hospital burned, it's where the fires were are kept, important fires are kept where the fire took place, and Babita picked up wrongdoing in that hospitals, and I guess some of evidence has been destroyed in that fire. Someone has been arrested already. We are following all the leads. So we up to now, that is what is happening. So this year is different, that something has happened. So we're hoping before end of the year something will come out eventually.
You know, whilst we reflect on Babita Deokaran and we center the conversation around her as this Saturday marks 4 years since her murder. As you say as well, just in the last couple of weeks, you know, we saw the murder of Mpho Mafule, who was a senior forensic auditor for the city of Ekurhuleni, also murdered in Kempton Park for doing his job. Suspects have been arrested and have appeared in court in his case, and his murder was believed to be connected to an ongoing investigation as well into a 2 billion rand electricity scandal. And his family, like the family of Babita, are also seeking for there to be real justice, real justice served for the murder of their son, similarly to Babita's family as well, because being a whistleblower in this country, one of the questions that always comes up is the fact that you are sacrificing and putting the life of yourself and your family on the line for the greater good, for the greater good in service of country. And that's a very high ask of anybody.
Of course, it is a very high ask, but we cannot keep on seeking justice for people who got assassinated for doing the right thing. Somewhere down the line, the government specifically need to be proactive and create a conducive environment that those who stand up and be counted like whistleblowers, they must not only be protected, but we must see to it that we don't only talk a lot of good statements, we walk the talk. Those that are found to have been involved in murdering whistleblowers, a clear message must be sent. The prosecution must be very serious, so that any person who think of doing that, we set an example that is not allowed. But the government itself must not only give out good statements. We must cultivate a culture whereby everyone sees that any wrongdoing, especially that involves corruption, is not allowed. Because corruption, actually, you're not stealing the money from the government, you're stealing the money from the public, which the money can be used for essential services. All over the country, people are complaining about service delivery. You go to hospitals, there are no medicines. Schools, we still have schools without proper sanitations, without books. We still have, we need more police on the ground. We need proper roads. These things, if we simplify them, These are daily bread and butter issues. We need to create jobs. So we must not make it aloof as if it has to do with the government. It has to do with ordinary people on the ground. The more money they steal, the more we suffer.
Ali, let's pause it there for a second. We'll be back right after the headline news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the ANC in the Free State has resolved to remove 7 municipal mayors, speakers and chief whips. The affected municipalities are Mafube, Muqaka, Litimeng, Ngetuana, Nala, Masulunyana and Lejule. National Assembly Speaker Toko Didiza has defended the Parliamentary Legal Services Unit from criticism by some of the members of Parliament. And the Competition Commission's legal representative, Advocate Tembeka Ncukaitobi, in the currency price fixing case, says the Competition Act has unique provisions allowing for action to be taken against both local and international banks. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
All right, as we continue the conversation with Ali Guli, who's an anti-corruption activist, having a conversation reflecting on Babita Deokaran, who was murdered in August of 2021, and this Saturday marks 4 years since her murder. And of course, on Saturday, the anti-corruption and pro-whistleblowers activists will, together with Babita's family, descend to the crime scene for her annual remembrance. And this year, they're commemorating her in a different spirit of hope that justice for her assassination is imminent. And this, of course, as you heard Ali saying, that they're hinging a lot of positivity on the latest developments since the explosive press conference by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. So hopefully it will yield some results in as far as bringing conclusion and closure to the murder of Babita Deokaran. But Ali, before we took the news, you're talking around that we need to cultivate a culture that stands against wrongdoing as a society. And I guess that is the question, right? Is how much should we as ordinary South Africans be demanding by way of safety and protections for whistleblowers? Because I feel like sometimes maybe the conversation is lost on us when we see whistleblowers, reporting from anonymous locations in and around the world, locations of safety that they've relocated themselves to, calling for greater means of protecting them so that they can come forward and they can do their jobs and that they can speak truth to power.
Look, let me say, maybe I'm at a privilege whereby I liaise and work along a lot of whistleblowers. Whistleblowers is not about only losing their lives, which is the worst scenario. But we've got whistleblowers that I can think from the top of my head that have been pushed out from work. If you're employed at SAFM, the other thing that you don't want to drop the ball at is losing your employment. Some of them have not been necessarily killed, but they will concoct a case whereby you'll be suspended and eventually lose the job. So if we make it an obligation for certain people that we identify as whistleblowers, it becomes very difficult for them because they can be easily identified and isolated. So the culture that we must create in this country is not going to be an easy one, is whereby we say fighting crime is everybody's business. If there's a shooting in a certain residential area, those people, those criminals do not live in the air. They are somewhere harbored by certain people. Someone must have seen something, someone must know something. Then it must be everyone's responsibility to report it to the authorities that I know who has committed this type of crime. Whereas crime or corruption, then it becomes better and easier for the government to come into an environment whereby we all on one side fighting the wrongdoers, the culprits. In fact, the wrongdoers percentage is very small, same like criminals. So I think it's derived from that evil happens where good men do nothing. If we stand on the side and say, I am not personally or directly affected, it has nothing to do with me, someday it will come back to you. It's like a person who buys stolen goods because that person pays much cheaper, like the value of that thing. But one day the criminals will come back and steal the property, your own property that is not stolen, to sell it to someone. So we must cut this vicious cycle. All of us, the government, yes, the act is there, the act has been improved. This country has got the problem, the challenge of good policies and act and laws, but the implementation is a different story altogether.
Absolutely. I want us to go to a voice note. We did reach out to Babita's family to be a part of this conversation. And of course, it is a very emotional time of year for them as, the lead up to Saturday. And so we completely understand why they asked to be pardoned at this time. But Babita's niece did send us a voice note just to mark the moment and reflect back on her auntie Babita Deokaran.
My name is Prashiva Pritipal, formerly known as Prashiva Deokaran, and I am the very proud niece of Babita Deokaran. It's an honor to be able to talk about my heroic auntie this afternoon on SAFM. Babita, or as my family and I would fondly call her, Bata, wasn't just my auntie. She was my second mother, a confidant, and one of my favorite people in the world. Not just during this time of the year, when it's close to my aunt's death anniversary, but every day, we as a family remember and miss my aunt dearly. Our hearts are broken. The 23rd of August 2021 was a day that every single family member of ours will never forget. That pivotal day is etched in our memory and has traumatized us for life as we were robbed of the person who was literally the life of our family. Although my aunt Babita held such a prominent position at the Gauteng Health Department, she always made time for family and would always lend a helping hand to anyone in need. She was very active in our family, and we really miss her daily check-ins, jokes, and her sharing news of what's new and happening around the world. Just this morning, I was scrolling through some of her messages to me, and I smiled upon how many times she would randomly message me just to check in on how I am. Her busy schedule never stopped her from being involved in her family's lives. She really loved this time of the year when all the festivities would begin, as she really loved the preparations. We would like South Africa to remember Babita Deokaran as a brave and selfless woman who laid down her life for a better tomorrow. She died for doing the right thing. She is a hero, and we hope and pray that her sacrifice did not go in vain. As the 4th anniversary of her death approaches us, please join us in getting justice for Babita Deokaran and support the Shadow State book launch by Jeff Wicks in the 3 major cities, Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. Thank you.
Sweet message there from Babita's niece. And of course, this Saturday, they are going to be gathering at the crime scene for the annual remembrance. In the last minute, Ali, we literally have a minute. In the last minute, what would your words be to somebody who maybe finds themselves in a crossroads right now where they want to act on something but fear for their livelihood or fear for their life?
Look, we do not want to guarantee safety for everyone, but we're putting all the stuff to see to it that whistleblowers are protected. an ongoing process. Fortunately, I've met the person who sent the voice note. I've met all the family members of Papita. But let me bring it to you as a lady as well as a woman in Women's Month. Papita was also killed in a Women's Month. Papita was a single mom who left a teenager who started this year at university. Sometimes when you meet the child, you don't even know what to say to the child. It's a different story when you count people as statistics. But as soon as you meet the family, you realize that the person is someone to next of kin.
Yeah.
Therefore, we are urging everyone who is in power. The persons we're talking about are not just numbers. They are members of the family. And we'll continue to support all of them. And we're using Papita's case to support all whistleblowers. Let us continue to stand and fight for the future of our country, for our future generation.
Ali Gule, we appreciate the time with you this afternoon. It's just gone 2 o'clock. A quick pause and then we'll be right back.
They said women belong in the background, but we've always been the backbone. We drive economies. We innovate, care, build, and break barriers. We don't just raise families, we raise nations. But how do we build a thriving nation while violence still silences our voices? Erasing gender-based violence and femicide from our history isn't a dream. It's a decision, a shared one, a necessary one. This Women's Month, let's rise, not just in celebration, but in solidarity, because South Africa is strongest when every woman is safe. This message is brought to you by the GBVF Response Fund and proudly supported by the SABC.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
The Springboks return to the pitch in search of revenge. But the Wallabies want to continue where they left off last weekend. Which green and gold between the two nations will walk away victors? This is the Rugby Championship. Witness global class rugby action. South Africa versus Australia on Saturday, 23 August at 5:10 in the afternoon. Live on SABC radio stations. All SABC radio stations are also available on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Okay, so we're celebrating South Africa's largest cultural celebration, which is the OTT India Day 2025, and it's showcasing nearly 8 decades of Indian heritage. Councillor General Majesh Kumar joins us now. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Bridget, and my good afternoon to the listeners of SAFM also this afternoon.
Thank you so much for the time. So, in association with the India Club South Africa, the Consulate General of India is presenting the OTT India Day 2025. And I'm sure it's quite the vibrant day of celebration, and we'll get to it. But let's get to the heritage of the Indian population in South Africa. I mean, I happen to be born and bred and grew up in KZN. And I know that there is a large population of a large Indian population in KZN. If I understand correctly, even the second largest outside of India.
Yes, certainly, Bridget. So you have got it right, and we would want that heritage to be celebrated. Which, I mean, in fact, when you look at the ordinary life of South Africans, that celebration is happening every day. But we thought that this year, when we stage our annual India Day, we would like this fact to be also brought out to a wider audience again, because these celebrations, I think we need to repeat them on ongoing basis. So yes, indeed, you got it right.
When it comes to the heritage of the South African Indian population, I mean, let's get a little bit of a history lesson as to, how did South Africa come to have the second largest population outside of India? What was the motivation, the history that made the Indians travel to South Africa and set up roots here?
Yes. So, as you would know that we share a common, sort of linkage with the British colonialism, and where both our countries were under the British occupation for a long period of time, and those plantation owners here, they used to bring a lot of people from India to come and work in these plantations. So they originally all came and started to work in these plantations, and then subsequently, of course, another wave of people came here as traders and then as professionals, and that population now swelled to about, I think, 3% of South Africa's overall population. So, although the heritage is Indian, but they are as South African as it gets.
Oh, of course. At this point, we are generations into Indian South Africans. That are as South African as they get. And with that, though, came a whole beautiful Eastern culture to be explored and celebrated. Tell us a little bit about, because I think a lot of people maybe confuse or, sort of have this homogenous feel to Indian culture as though it's just one.
So India as a country is very diverse. We speak several languages. Every province of India, in India we call provinces as states. So every state of India would have a different language. Our food would be different. The way we would dress would be very different. So that diversity gets reflected in the population here in South Africa also, especially the population of Indian heritage. But then in India, there's a thread that goes through all of this, and we say unity in this diversity, and that's a thread that we see here in South Africa also. When you have this rainbow nation, so all different people come together and form one united country, one unified society, one unified nation. So that's the whole celebration, and these are the themes which are very important themes that needs to be re-emphasized upon every now and then, needs to be celebrated upon every now and then. That's how you get to see that while the diversity is very much there, but then the celebration through these occasions is also required, and we repeat that every now and then.
This year's India Day, you guys are not just having the cultural milestones and the celebration, but also there's a renewed commitment to people-to-people diplomacy. Talk to us about that.
Yes, certainly. So, as you would know, Bridget, this year is the year of G20, of South African presidency of G20, where India has been very supportive of every initiative that South African presidency has assumed for itself. One important aspect of all this is, of course, several engagement groups under the G20 framework. But then, when you look bilaterally for us, people-to-people connection has been a very, very important part of our relationship with South Africa that unites us. So we would like that, of course, to be celebrated. And in this celebration this year, we have got about 50 plus performances, cultural performances, where of course there will be performances from India, but then there will be performances from South Africa also, and some fusion performances also. More than 800 artists, again very mixed population profile. Locals, Indians, mixed Indians. So that diversity is going to be very much visible on stage in our celebration. There'll be different foods also for people to, different kind of food for people to sample, to taste. So that's also very much there. And we are also trying to highlight, the futuristic elements in our relationship, India and South Africa, things like innovation, things like science and technology, the wonderful work that's happening in our two countries, and whatever we can do together. So we are highlighting, we are utilizing this platform to showcase this unity, celebrate this unity.
There's a lot on the agenda for the India Day, Councillor General, and we fast run out of time. But for folks that want to come through and explore the culture, the heritage, the community, where do we go? It's at Sandown High School, if I'm correct.
Yes, it's a Sandown High School. The entry is free for everyone. It's an open event. Anybody could come in. There are ample arrangements related to, say, parking and all that. So it's very easy, smooth, easy event for anyone to participate, even with your families, kids, elderly parents, people with, limitations. Everything has been catered for. And in fact, this year's new addition to this year's celebration, of course, there are many, but one thing that I want to highlight is a consular camp. So a lot of people have still some documentation requirement from India. So what we are doing is that we are opening our office on that day in the consular in the form of a consular camp at the grounds where this celebration will be happening. So Indians, but Indian origin South Africans, if there is a documentation requirement, consular camp is also very much available there. So a lot of those things are happening, and through you again, I would like to invite people, all your listeners, to come and experience the sharedness, the jointness of our identity as Indians and South Africans and Indian South Africans.
Wonderful. We certainly will be there this coming Saturday at Sandown High School in Sandton. It's free and open to the public. And as you heard from the Consular General as well, if you have some documentation that requires the Indian consulate, you can bring it along. They're going to have a satellite consulate camp there for you to be able to utilize and get updated with whatever it is that you need to do. Okay, that's it from my end. I'll be there. And next year, Consular General, can you please ensure that we have Ashwarya Rai come through? And can I get an autograph? That would be so great.
Definitely. Some of her legendary music, of course, would be played, and some of the dances which will reflect some of the master steps mastered by Miss Aishwarya Rai. But it's a good desire on your part to put forth. Let's see.
Let's see.
The Springboks return to the pitch in search of revenge. But the Wallabies want to continue where they left off last weekend. Which green and gold between the two nations will walk away victors? This is the Rugby Championship. Witness global class rugby action. South Africa versus Australia on Saturday, 23 August at 5:10 in the afternoon. Live on SABC radio stations. All SABC radio stations are also available on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Channel your inner warrior woman this August on Expresso as we celebrate and empower women across South Africa. From trailblazing heroines to inspiring entrepreneurs, we spotlight stories of strength, resilience, and change. Join us for powerful panel chats, wisdom, wellness, and bold conversations on equality, GBV, and women's rights. This Women's Month, rise with the women leading our nation forward. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. only on S3.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, as we get into our last conversation for this hour with Taryn Ray, who's the CEO of the Tomorrow Trust. It is Women's Month and hashtag Women for Change. South Africa's youth population is faced with many obstacles across areas of development. So how do we create frameworks that actually enable them to succeed in all areas of life? We thought we'd engage the Tomorrow Trust on this conversation very briefly. How are you doing this afternoon, Taryn?
Good, thanks, and you, Bridget. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Let's walk through the work and the projects that you focus on the at the Tomorrow Trust, rather.
Yes. So Tomorrow Trust is an NGO, and we've been around for 20 years. We focus specifically on providing world-class programming to orphan and vulnerable children, specifically looking at deepening STEM subjects and giving them a coordinated opportunity to be exposed to other sort of aspects like psychosocial support, digital literacy, and opportunity and career guidance. And what we do is we actually create this pipeline from playground to professional, where we hold a child from as little as 5 and take them through their journey with us, ending in grade 12 and then into tertiary and then moving on into the world of work.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we had to sort of measure the impact of a sustained period of time, how would we measure the impact of the work that you do in affecting real change for South African youth in particular?
So I think how we measure success with Tomorrow Trust is we target the most vulnerable students within our communities. So we look at children that are in quintile 1, 2, 3 schools, and these are often schools that are not subsidized by the government, are subsidized by the government, and they've got very limited resources, large classrooms, and all of that. We believe that if we provide them with a wraparound support and take them on their journey, that we could then provide them opportunities that would then open up aspects like furthering their education or getting better positioned in employment, or even inspiring entrepreneurship mindsets within our youth. And we use our model by looking at education to actually take the learners right through. So to give you an example, one of our partners, Data Tech Foundation, they fund a group of 90 students that start in grade 10 and slowly develop them holistically into grade 10, 11, and 12, and building this pipeline for the ICT industry and STEM-focused industries to then move on to university and then access into the economy and further benefiting South Africa.
And I think that's the unique sort of positioning of the Tomorrow Trust, Taryn, correct me if I'm wrong, is that your mission is, in fact, to have a holistic approach that reaches from education all the way through to profession.
Yes, 100%. And I think, one thing that we look at is, I think if you look at inequality is not being able to provide children from communities a full wraparound support like a private school learner would get, And what we're trying to do is bridge that gap and offer the opportunities to every child, to offer quality education for every child so they too can finish grade 12 or into university or workspace on the same sort of level as somebody that wasn't afforded that opportunity,
Sorry, continue.
No, I was going to say, and we've seen the outcomes of this. So, by creating the spaces of coordinated support for children, looking at academic support, psychosocial, digital integration, and career guidance, we've seen some of our children go from 40%, as low as 40%, to achieving right over above 50% in some cases. So to give you an example, last year our cohorts of grade 12 that have been with us since grade 8, the averages were below 40%. And last year we had a 99% pass rate, and of that, 93% of them received a bachelor pass rate, which I think, again, it's looking at the quality of the pass, not just the pass rate, right? And how they could actually access different opportunities. So, again, to just leverage on one of our partners, Data Tech Foundation, with their sponsored learners, 87% of those learners then went on to going and studying further, going into employment, and being really active members of society. And that's what you want. You want to be able to allow somebody the opportunity to access civil society and enter into the South African market on a good foot.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that's the time we have for today. But we'll leave it here. No doubt we'll catch up again at some point during the course of the year. That was Taryn Ray coming through, CEO at the Tomorrow Trust, doing really impactful work there with South African youth and taking a holistic approach all the way through from education, from playground to the professional setting, holding and guiding the hands of children from underserviced communities. It's 2 o'clock on the dot. Andele standing by with the news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, 7 municipality mayors removed in the Free State and Didiza defends Parliamentary Legal Services Unit. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good day. The ANC in the Free State has resolved to remove 7 municipal mayors, speakers and chief whips. The affected municipalities are Mafube, Moqhaka, Litsimeng, Ngetuana, Nala, Maselunyana and Lijwele-Botswa. The party today announced the outcomes of yesterday's special PEC meeting. The ANC citing persistent disclaimers, weak leadership and poor governance which undermine service delivery, including allegations of corruption. The party's provincial secretary, Polediso Mutsweneng, explains.
PEC resolved that there will be priority municipalities that will be affected as a result of the reports. These are as a result, the intervention is as a result of persistent disclaimers in terms of the Asia reports.
National Assembly Speaker Toko Didiza has defended the Parliamentary Legal Services Unit from criticism by some of the members of Parliament. The unit was criticised during the draft of the terms of reference of the ad hoc committee established to investigate allegations made by the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Some of the MPs were not satisfied with the drafting of the terms of reference by the legal unit, including the quality of the legal opinion provided. Parliamentary spokesperson Moloto Mutapo elaborates.
It must be emphasized that our legal advisors are not merely administrative staff members of Parliament, but they are officers of the court as well, guided by the Legal Practice Act and the Legal Practice Council. And their professionalism, competence and integrity have stood the test of constitutional legal scrutiny for many years. While members may not always agree with their opinions, and members indeed are entitled to do so, disagreements should never translate into personal attacks on their dignity or credibility. To cast aspersions on them is not only unjust to the individual legal advisors concerned, but it also undermines the credibility of Parliament and its oversight processes, such as the one currently before the ad hoc committee.
5 learners and a parent have been arrested after they allegedly disrupted matric preparatory exams at Tsakane Secondary School in Ekurhuleni this morning. The reasons for the disruptions are not clear at this stage. However, the Gauteng Education Department believes this will serve as a deterrent to parents and learners who might be tempted to disrupt schooling and contravene the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act. The department spokesperson, Steve Mabona.
So these children have been harassing educators and some learners at the school, to a certain extent that some learners had to get protection orders against these learners. The principal has been in and out of the police station, opening cases. We are quite happy that today the 5 learners that have been identified, police, processed them.
The Competition Commission's legal representative, Advocate Tembeka Ncukaitobi, in the currency price-fixing case, says the Competition Act has unique provisions allowing for action to be taken against both local and international banks. This after legal representatives on behalf of the Australian and New Zealand bank group, Nedbank and Standard Bank, argued yesterday in the Constitutional Court that the Commission has no case against them. The Competition Commission is appealing to the Court to overturn a previous judgment that excluded foreign banks from the rand manipulation case on the basis of jurisdiction. Ncukaitobi elaborates.
There is something undisputable. These 4 connecting factors that were found by the tribunal, and no one could actually dispute them. 1, the rand, the symbol of our sovereignty. 2, the fact that in the conspiracy there are firms that are based in South Africa, including Absa and Standard Bank and Investec. 3, the fact that there is no other jurisdiction that is prosecuting the rand manipulation. And 4, the fact that the allegations are that the banks violated South African laws No one could contend with those connecting factors as the decisive factors that bring the entirety of the SOC within the reach of the South African authorities.
Gaza City residents have been describing another night of relentless bombardment by Israeli forces. Israel says it has begun an expanded offensive to target the remaining Hamas strongholds there. The BBC's Yolanda Nell has the details.
We've seen a lot of rhetoric in the past day. The Israeli military saying after it ordered that big mobilization of reservists that it had started the first stage of its attacks. You had the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu coming out saying that he'd shortened the timeline for this operation to take Gaza City. And this, of course, is all increasing pressure on Hamas as well. Hamas put out its own statement saying, accusing the Israeli leader of waging a brutal war on the civilians in Gaza City.
Recapping the top story, the ANC in the Free State has resolved to remove 7 municipal mayors, speakers and chief whips. I am on Delambara for SFM News headlines at 2:30.
The Bavarians want to rubber stamp that they are reigning champions and open the curtain with victory. Meanwhile, the Red Bulls are confident they will cause an upset. This is the Bundesliga, football as it's meant to be. Catch Bayern Munich versus RB Leipzig this Friday, 22 August at 8:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
It is time to experience spectacular football talent from 19 African nations. East Africa is on full vibration. From Tanzania, Kenya to Uganda, the pitch personnel are hungry for continental glory. This is the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Witness Chan 2024 on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 from 2 to 30 August 2025. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Wow, wow, yeah, Maya. Wow, wow, yeah, 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 wow, yeah, So bit not a bed down, that I open now by yourself. How about the oh, said that I don't know, but sit me down, down, said don't know, Papa, where's that? Some of them bet that I own. Some of them bet that I own. Set don't know somebody done, but Papa, I don't need most of the arm, but they don't know. The most of the bambas up a point and knows about that now, but I don't. So point out that those are bed now, so bed now, you'll no the out of a bed out of the town. Say, Mama, on those about that I don't. See, no, about those. Sitting up the house of the better of a Savayon, you. Sarabi, the better of a better, I said, no, by your papa. So, Papa, I said, the bed, no. Said, now that I am big, not a better than I zombie. Sitting about Mamma's not no zombie,
unanswered, right, is the improvision of it all. Sia Makuzeni coming through with Moya Ongwele. And Sia will be live at the Dina Lady stage. There's 4 stages to the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. If you are not a regular, there's a lot of folks who are obviously regulars, return again goers of the festival. But if you're not a regular, there's 4 distinct stages, all 4 of them highly curated with only the best artists taking to the stage. And Sia Makuzeni is going to be one of those artists at the Dina Lady stage. You can get your tickets via ticketmaster.co.za. And don't forget, because we're celebrating our 89th birthday this month, we are giving you an opportunity to come and attend the Joy of Jazz with us. And you can bring along a partner at the Sandton Convention Center. And to stand a chance to win, all you have to do really is SMS SAFM 89 followed by your name to 41391. That's our SMS line, 41391. And then stay tuned to the station during September, because we might be calling you and giving you a set of those tickets. It's that easy. SMS us on SAFM. Well, it's SAFM 89 followed by a name to 41391. And remember that SMSs are charged at just the standard SMS rate. The competition closes on the 31st of August, so you don't want to miss out. Umpumelelo Bond Nkoya joins us now, who's a lawyer and legal analyst, and we are trying to understand this issue around the Lesotho territorial claim. So you know that there was a move and a motion that was put forward by a Lesotho member of parliament to petition the United Nations for the expropriation of land in parts of the Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, as well as the Eastern Cape. And it's stirred up a long-standing debate about borders and territories. And Umpumelelo is hopefully going to help us understand how this all works. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Bertha. It's Mpumelelo Nyoka.
Nyoka.
Snake, not Nkoya.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
Nyoka.
apologies, Nyoka. My
It's fine,
apologies.
It's
not
fine. All right. No, it's fine. That's just a small storm. That's a storm in the teacup, if it's a storm at all.
It's okay. It's Bridget today,
All
not
right.
Bertha.
Yes. Oh, Bridget. Okay,
Yes.
Bridget. Sorry.
No, it's
we're
fine.
making mistakes. All right. Okay, both of us made. Okay, let me start. This issue is a contentious issue, but it arose out of you remember there was a Lifetana
Yes.
a chiefdom conquest in the early 1800s. That was coupled by the conquest wars, where the Dutch settlers out of the Great Trek, they left the former Cape up into the country in the early 1800s. So as a result of that and conquest wars, there was a lot of population displacement. People living, I'll make an example, in 1837, when the Dutch settlers were moving to the northern Transvaal, the Mzilikazi Ndebeles who left the KZN, so to speak, from Chaka, who had settled there under Mzilikazi, they crossed the border to now New Zimbabwe and settled in the Matabele land, and resulting in a conflict with the Shonas. So if this claim can be entertained, those Ndebeles who cross the Limpopo to Zimbabwe can want to come back home as well, if that is the case. That shows the movement. King Sobhuza was also a casualty of one of the chiefs of Shaka, because he went to open Eswatini and named it after his child, Mswati, with some of the Sothos and some of the Xhosas, and opened Swaziland, Eswatini. So if we were to be nice, we'll call all those countries and form to be under us. So what happened is that the 3 countries that go together, Eswatini, Botswana, and Lesotho, they asked Britain to be under its protection. In 1868, Britain annexed them and kept them under their protection. The Dutch settlers of Free State were fighting with Moshoeshoe, taking his land. So there was in 1869 a Treaty of Alwan North where Britain, on behalf of Lesotho, entered into a treaty with the Dutch settlers for two things: not to take the more lands of Basotho anymore, and to draw the boundaries of Lesotho. The boundaries of Lesotho were only drawn in 1869. When the Berlin Conference of 1884-1885 met in Berlin to draw the boundaries of colonial subjects, Lesotho was left out because it had already been drawn by Britain. You see, without consent, like those colonial subjects, without consent of Lesotho. South Africa, after the Union of South Africa, called on Britain. It wanted Lesotho, Botswana, and Swaziland to form under it, but Britain refused. So when Lesotho got independence in 1966, from 1868 to 1966, no one said anything about the return of lands. In 1960, there was a United Nations General Assembly resolution 1514 that called upon colonial principles for two things to be done. Number one, grant independence to all those countries that are colonized. Number two, facilitate the return of lost lands. Britain, being the colonizer in 1960, did not do anything. Only 6 years later, in 1966, did it grant independence to Lesotho and Botswana. In 1968, for Swatini, it never did anything about the facilitation of lands to be returned back. And then come 1960, the OAU had a declaration called the Cairo Declaration, where they said, if you get independent African state, we're not going to fight about colonial borders. We're going to inherit them as they are to avoid conflicts later on. That found expression also in the African Union's Constitutive Act, Section 4B, which said borders are to be taken as they are. Lesotho from 1966 up to now has never complained. It is a signatory to the AU Constitutive Act, like South Africa. Never complained about that.
Yeah.
So also there's an international law principle that says if you don't complain about a set of facts, you cannot later on deny that.
So
it was stated.
Mpumelelo, if I may interject there from the history context that you give us, right?
Yes.
Which ultimately, I don't know if I'm interpreting and understanding correct. It does obviously show merit to the claims, right? That Lesotho does have historical claim to the lands that it seeks. But now, what does this mean in the context of today, given what you've just said about, them being signatories to certain treaties?
Lesotho was also taking some lands in southern Lesotho, like Sekonyela. You cannot seek justice if your hands are dirty. You can only seek justice if your hands are clean. If South Africa was to be mean, or Cecil John Rhodes had one mission, South Africa had to stretch from Cape Town right up to there in Zambia, not southern African states as we have. So if we were to mean, we'll ask for the reincorporation of Botswana, Swatini, and Lesotho, because there was no state to talk of. There can be no merit because Lesotho had no sovereign right. The sovereignty was exercised by Britain on behalf of its subjects. We cannot talk of a state that was not there. So it has no claim to that. Look, Lesotho has got 30,000 square meters. Free State that it wants Free State that is 129,000 square meters. It wants Free State, part of Eastern Cape, part of KZN, part of Northern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. That's a huge chunk, like almost more than 2/3 of what it has today. You must remember also in 2018 there was a civil movement inside Lesotho that called upon the king to abolish the border so that Lesotho can be a 10th province of South Africa. There is no merit because Lesotho agreed through Britain that these are our borders, 1869. Britain did not do anything to ask for the lands to be taken back. Instead, it was the Union of South Africa from 1910 to 1961 that was knocking on the door of Britain. Please bring us Lesotho. It stopped when it became a republic in 1961. It also stopped when those resolutions were promulgated in 1960 that all lands must be returned. So it is stopped. There's a principle called estoppel. As an example of estoppel, there was the territorial border dispute between Cambodia and Thailand in 1962. where Thailand pretended as if this temple, it recognized that it fell under Cambodia. When it went to the International Court of Justice, the International Court of Justice said, by your conduct, you acted as if you accept that the temple fell under Cambodia. So it failed. So we're not guided by emotions, we're guided by principles. There was no Lesotho to speak of until it got independence in 1966, until its borders were drawn in 1969, in 1869. So 97 years passed without anything happening. Nothing.
So then I beg the question of, why then this Lesotho Member of Parliament, this MP, puts forward this petition if the understanding is that there is no basis and there is no legal merit for these claims?
Good question. He was elected out of the 120 member assembly of Lesotho, is the sole member of that parliament. And in terms of the law for South Africa and Lesotho, if South Africa were to agree to this, the national executive must enter into an international agreement with Lesotho and must be passed by the majority of the Parliament of South Africa and 6 provinces. In Lesotho, the majority of the members of the National Assembly of Lesotho, they must pass that motion for land from South Africa. On top of that, there must be a referendum that passes by a majority. Now, where is he going to get the members to get that 50%? Also, we have an experience of 1982 here in South Africa, where the apartheid government wanted to cede certain portions of land, Kangwana and Gwavuma, to Eswatini. Those people refused, but they were not consulted, and they refused that. There was a RAMF commission that was formed to investigate that in 1982. It had to be aborted because people refused to do so. So even if the governments were to agree, the people on the ground affected in those provinces must agree, must be consulted and agree, as well as those of Lesotho. So this person is clutching at straws, just steering trouble. Lastly, a claim has to be made first, peacefully. If there's no agreement that you could go to the International Court of Justice, there is no claim yet made to South Africa. And Lesotho, being a member of SADC, never even vented the fact that they wanted portion of the land. So it's just noise making that is happening by a minority member of Lesotho. Thank you, Beth.
Mpumelelo, I wish we had more time to indulge in
Sorry, Bridget.
Don't worry about it.
There's
I wish we had more time to indulge in the history and the politics of it all, because I think we've just scratched the surface. But thank you so much for the wealth of knowledge that you managed to cram in just this short amount of time. That was Mpumelelo Bondinyoga. He's a lawyer and a legal analyst, and of course, very much interested in the developments around this Lesotho and South Africa land claims debacle. But we walk away saying, oh, well, maybe Free State to KZN in the Eastern Cape, you're still fine. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back at the bottom of the hour with the headline news and then go straight into our kids programming.
Spar brings you super savings. Get Pampers Active Baby Nappies or Nappy Pads Value Pack for $169.99 plus 400 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Or Cadbury Crunchy Lunch Bar PS or 5-star chocolate bars, any 2 for 22 Rand plus 50 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Prices valid until 24 August 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
The Falcons of Jediani know how close they are to get to the semi-finals, but the Desert Foxes are confident nothing will stop them from getting to the last 4. This is the quarterfinal battle of the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Sudan tackles Algeria this Saturday, 23 August at 7 p.m. Live everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Taifa Stars have a mandate to book a place in the semi-finals, but the Atlas Lions want to impress the Moroccans with a win. The East are up against the North. This is the quarterfinal encounter of the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Catch the glittering clash between Tanzania and Morocco this Friday, 22 August at 7 p.m. Live everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the dissolved Board of South African Tourism says it's exploring various options, including legal action, following the decision by the Minister of Tourism to dissolve it yesterday. ANC in the Free State has resolved to remove 7 municipal mayors, speakers and chief whips, and the Limpopo Transport Department says 39 people, including 30 learners from a special school, have been wounded in a bus crash on the R71 at Mahobaskloof outside Tzaneen. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Babina Noko have a mammoth task to triumph with a convincing margin. But 2024 finalists, Stellies, want to protect their 2-0 lead to return to the final. This is the MTN 8 second leg semi-final. Wafa Wafa! Catch Sikukune United versus Stellenbosch FC this Saturday, 23 August at 5:30 p.m. live on SABC2 and SABC Plus. Also available on SABC radio stations at 6 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
Harambee Stars are on a mission to maintain their unbeaten run. They eye a special ticket to the last 4, but the Berea have a big task to silence the hosts. This is the quarterfinal clash of the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Catch this exciting African battle, Kenya versus Madagascar, this Friday, 22 August at 4 p.m. Live everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Asibambisane. Zini na zini. Ayikhomaneni. Hartsbarani. Say and say. Side by side.
Good afternoon and welcome to Side by Side, brought to you by the National Department of Health, Ilifa Labantwana, and the SABC Education. Today we're talking about growth monitoring and the Road to Health booklet. As you heard from our drama episode yesterday from Nes Piliso, who explained why it is so important to keep track of your child's growth and development, and just how the Road to Health booklet can be a powerful tool for parents and caregivers. By using it well, you can see whether your child is thriving, spot concerns early, and make sure they get the care they need on time. To help us explore this further, what to look for, how to read the booklet, and how healthcare workers and parents can work together, we are joined by a pediatrician from Harry Gwala Hospital, Dr. Hlophe, who brings valuable knowledge and experience in child health.
Side by side.
Dr. Hlophe, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's talk about why it is so important to monitor the growth of young children.
Hi, Ms. P, and thank you for having me. Growth monitoring is crucial for young children as it helps track their development and identify any potential health issues early on. Regular monitoring can reveal patterns in a child's growth, allowing for timely intervention if there are any deviations from the expected growth trajectory. Key reasons for growth monitoring include an early detection of problems. This identifies growth delays or issues that may indicate underlying health problems. Nutritional assessment, which helps assess whether the child is receiving adequate nutrition. Health intervention, which allows for early intervention and treatment to address growth-related issues. And parental reassurance, which provides reassurance to parents that their child is growing and developing as expected. Growth monitoring is typically done using tools like a growth chart, which compares a child's growth measurement to a standard growth curve.
And how can parents make use of the Road to Health booklet to keep track of their child's growth and development?
The Road to Health booklet is an essential tool for parents to track their child's growth and development. It contains important information and records that help monitor the child's health. Here's how parents can use it effectively. They record measurements. They regularly record that the child's weight, the height, and the head circumference at clinic visits. It tracks immunizations, which keep a record of all immunizations the child has received, and monitor developmental milestones, which notes the child's progress in reaching key development milestones. Consulting healthcare providers, they use the booklet to discuss the child's growth and the development with the healthcare providers during their checkups. Parents should keep it updated to ensure all entries are up to date and bring the booklet to every clinic visit. By maintaining an accurate record in the Road to Health booklet, parents can ensure their child's growth and development are closely monitored and supported. Parents must read their child's Road to Health booklet. It also packed with information on nutrition, on immunization, on oral health, and even information on child grants and birth registrations.
For those that might not know, can you remind us what exactly the Road to Health booklet is?
The Road to Health booklet, which sometimes is called the RHTB or the vaccine card, is an important tool for tracking each child's health and development. It has been created by the National Department of Health, and every baby gets the booklet when they are born. The booklet is a tool for mom and for the healthcare worker. The booklet needs to go with mom and baby to every clinic visit because the health worker will write all baby's information in there, including her measurements, her vaccinations, and any health issues that are picked up and the treatment that she receives for these. Inside the booklets, there is a lot of information for mom about her child's health and development. Moms should read the book from cover to make sure she gets all the information in the book. If there is anything she doesn't understand, she should ask the health worker to go through it with her. The Road to Health booklet is a great way to help mom and health workers work side by side to keep baby health and the developing well.
Dr. Hlophe, you've mentioned more than once that moms should always bring the booklet along to every clinic visit. Can you please explain why it is so important?
Yes, Ms. P, it's very important. All the baby's health information is recorded in the booklets. When the mom brings the baby to the clinic in each visit, she might not see the same nurse or the doctor when she saw the previous time. But that's okay because any healthcare worker can look at the Road to Health booklets and find all the information that she needs to make sure that the baby gets the right healthcare. For example, the clinic worker will write a baby's weight and the length into the booklets at every visit. This means that at the next visit, the health worker can see whether the baby is putting on weight nicely. If the baby isn't putting on weight, or is losing weight compared to the last visit, then the health worker knows that something is wrong.
And what kind of information is written down in the Road to Health booklet during clinic visits?
The Road to Health booklet is really like a diary or a passport for your child's health. It also records information about breastfeeding, feeding practices, And there's also space to write down any illnesses with previous hospital admissions the child may have had, any treatment that was given, and even the follow-up visits that are needed. In short, it captures the whole picture of your child's journey from birth right through to 5 years. And this helps both parents and healthcare worker track progress and quickly notice if anything is not going well.
So, besides growth and weight, does the booklet also track other parts of the child's health like vaccinations and milestones?
Yes, absolutely. Vaccinations are clearly tracked in the booklets with a schedule that shows the parents which injections are due and at what age. And this helps protect children from serious diseases. The booklets also tracks milestones. For example, when a child starts smiling, crawling, walking, or saying their first words. And these milestones are important because they show if the child is developing at the right pace. There is also information on safety tips for parents, like home safety, fire burn safety. So the booklet is like a guide and a record at the same time. It reminds parents what to expect and helps them work with the clinic to keep their child healthy and safe.
And what should parents do if they notice that their child's growth line is not going as expected in the booklet?
If a parent sees that the growth line is flat or going down instead of going up, that is a sign that something may not be right. The first step is not to panic, but to take the child back to the clinic as soon as possible. Sometimes small things like a child being sick with flu or diarrhea can cause a temporary change in growth. But if the line continues not to rise, it may mean the child is not getting enough nutrition or there could be an underlying health problem. The nurse or a doctor will check the child, ask about feeding, and may even do further tests if needed. Parents should also be honest about what their child is eating at home because that helps the health worker give the best advice. Acting early is very important because children grow fastest in the first 2 years of life, and delays in the growth can affect their brain development as well. So the booklet helps the parents and healthcare worker spot the problems early and fix them before they become serious.
Dr. Tlhope, and when parents bring their children for clinic visits, do you sometimes find that the information in the Road to Health booklet doesn't match what the parent is saying about their child's health?
Yes, Ms. P, we do experience that. Sometimes the parents are scared that maybe they're not giving the good nutrition, or maybe they have done something wrong that could make the child either unwell or not develop well. But at this time, they should not panic. They should give us the truth as it is so that we can guide them and give them the correct information to make sure that the child grows well.
And how often should parents take their child to the clinic for growth monitoring?
Children should be taken regularly, especially in the first 2 years of life. From birth up to 6 months, most babies go for monthly checkups to monitor their growth, vaccinations, and feeding. From 6 months to 1 year, the visits may be every 2 months. And from 1 year to 5 years, visits are usually every 3 months if the child is healthy. However, if a child is sick, underweight, or any other health concerns, the clinic may ask for more frequent visits. These visits are very important because children change quickly in their early years, and even small issues can be picked up early. Growth monitoring is not just about weighing the child. It is also a chance for a parent to also ask questions, get feeding advice, and receive reminders about the vaccinations and the milestones.
Sometimes parents can forget or lose the booklet. What should they do in that case?
It happens. Booklets do get misplaced sometimes. The important thing is not to stop visiting the clinic. If a booklet is lost or damaged, parents should inform the nurse at the clinic immediately. The clinic can either issue a new booklet, and they will try to fill in as much information as possible from the clinic records. Parents should then make sure to keep the new booklets in a safe place and bring it to every visit. Some families like to keep it in a plastic cover or a bag to protect it from getting wet. And remember, the booklet is very valuable. It is like your child's health passports, and without it, important information can be lost.
We're living in times where most parents are not available to look after their kids themselves. So can the Road to Health booklet also help caregivers and grandparents to look after the child?
Yes, definitely. The booklet is just for parents, but also for anyone who helps to take care for the child. Many times, children are looked after by grandparents, aunts, or other family members, especially when parents are at work. Having the booklets makes it easier for the caregivers to know exactly what the child needs. For example, they can check when the next vaccination is due or see what the child's feeding and growing plan is. It also helps them to understand if the child needs special care or has been ill recently. In this way, the booklet becomes a shared total that brings everyone together in supporting the child's health and development.
You also spoke about nutrition. How does the information in the booklet help healthcare workers pick up early signs of malnutrition or health problems?
The booklet provides a clear picture of the child's growth over time. By looking at the growth charts, health workers can see whether the child is following a healthy upward curve or whether there are worrying patterns like a flat or a falling line. This is one of the earliest signs of malnutrition. Health workers also check milestones in the booklet. For example, if a child is not sitting, walking at any expected age, that could point to a delayed development. And the vaccination record also helps them see whether the child may be at risk of preventable disease. When all this information combined, it gives a very strong early warning system. Instead of waiting until the child is sick, problems can be picked up early and corrected. And this is why bringing the booklet to every visit is important.
Dr. Hlophe, thank you so much for joining us today. We've learned a lot. In closing, what message would you like to share with parents about using the Road to Health booklet to give their child the best start in life?
My message to parents is simple. The Road to Health booklet is one of the most powerful tools you have to protect and guide your child's health. It is not just a piece of paper. It is your child's health passport, growth tracker, and a guidebook all in one. Please bring it to every clinic visit, keep it safe, and take time to read the advice inside. Use it as a reminder about feeding, about vaccinations, and the milestones. If you ever have questions about what is written in the booklet, ask your nurse or doctor. They are there to help. And remember, children grow fastest and learn the most in their early years. And this is the foundation for their future success in school and in life. By using the Road to Health booklets consistently, you are giving your child the best possible start. Thank you.
And thank you for listening to Side by Side, the show that supports you to give your child the best possible start in life. Brought to you by the National Department of Health, Ilifa Labantwana, and the SABC Education. Join the conversation with other caregivers on our Facebook page at Side by Side SA and look out for more great content. Join us again same time next week when we'll be talking about developmental milestones in the first year and what to expect, right here on SAFM.
Asibambisane Tsini na tsini Ayikhomaneni Haratshwaraneni Say and say Side by side.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives.
This week on Off-Pitch Goals, having had a solid career for UJ ladies, Basia Michaels now sits at the head of the table when it comes to football agents. Representing some of South Africa's brightest football superstars, she breaks down how the world of talent management works. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 this Saturday, 23 August at 6:30 p.m. Also available on SABC Plus. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Bafana will host Nigeria in a FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifier at the Toyota Stadium on Tuesday, 9 September at 6 p.m. Tickets are now available nationwide and online from 70 Rand for adults and 40 Rand for children at all Ticket Pro outlets, including Spar, Postnet, and all petrol stations. Get your tickets early to avoid disappointment. Come in Bafana supporter gear, ready to sing for a win. Gates will open at 3 p.m. If you are not in Bloemfontein, catch the game on SABC2. For more information, visit safa.net and at Bafana Bafana on all social media channels.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
All right, for our final conversation, we are going to catch up with Peter Shigubo, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Metropolitan, and they are launching the Metropolitan Museum. And it's an investment in a legacy. For them, it's more than just a launch. It's a tribute to the people who built us. But of course, Peter is going to tell us more. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Bridget and the SAFM listeners, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the time, Peter. So when we think about Metropolitan's legacy, let's talk briefly about what story or what moments come to mind that speak to preserving future generations and preserving the history and the tribute to the collective.
Okay, maybe I'll have to start right at the beginning. In 1897, when Metropolitan was established, it was meant to really assist those who were excluded. And now, in my view, it talks to the spirit of inclusivity. And in that, because of the African people who were really excluded from the financial services industry or solutions, it gave dignity to them. It also talks to humanity. That as a start, it is not the only story that really defines who we are. But for me, it is so big in such a way that even today, when we're still talking about inclusivity, it is something that really guides us. We need to make sure that we can be able to take in anyone who lives in the country South Africa.
Why do you think it's important to capture and share stories of our past? And how do these stories, in essence, also guide our future? And I mean, that speaks to, and it will lead us into the importance of the Metropolitan Museum.
So I think it's all of the things that has happened in the past. When we preserve them, we are also ensuring that those who are going to come after us, they can also be able to learn from them. When we look into the Metropolitan journey and the stories which we tell, they are really underscored by resilience. They are also underscored by courage, as well as the innovation spirit. Now, all of this, when you listen to the stories of the past, you can be able to learn and make sure that going into the future, what are the lessons that we do not have to lose so that we can still continue to really build and grow this business. Now, today we have launched the museum, which in my view, we spent some time trying to pull all the artifacts as well as the memorabilia together. But more important, it was the stories that came with it, which today when we share with the people who were in the room, and this is something that we'll expect any other person who come into our own head office to go and look into this, because this is where we draw our inspiration from people who were before us. And now the foundation from which we're building from, it was solid just because of how courageous and how innovative, as well as how progressive the people of the past have really done. Again, 127 is more than a lifetime, which in my view, it means there is something that Metropolitan employees have been doing. It talks to, if you are not adaptable, there's no way that we'll still be here. The fact that after 127 years, we are still there, It's something that we have been doing good. There's something that we have done well. And more so, living up to the expectations that clients will have from us.
Peter, let me also ask you, how do you and the team see the Metropolitan Museum inspiring those who are going to walk through its doors? Now that it's open, walk through its doors in 5-10 years from now. What kind of inspiration would you like to see people get from journeying through the museum?
There are core values that really are to the heart of Metropolitan. Now, I mentioned here, Metropolitan is a progressive brand. And the Metropolitan care about the communities that we really serve. Now, anyone who were to go through the museum, you will be able to read and understand the stories where Metropolitan has shown this progressive spirit. You will also see the roles which they have played to ensure that they can be able to support the communities that we really come from. And both from there, when you look into the world and trying to solve for what we sit with as a challenge, you know that I have to remain true to the core values of this business. I just want to give an example. While we keep talking about Together We Can, which to me, it is one of the things that drives us to ensure that we work together as a team, because that's how you can be able to deliver. Now, about 4 years ago, we launched the Collective Shapers, which in my view, it is still very much in the spirit of Together We Can, where we went to the rural areas. First it was the Limpopo, we went to KZN, we also did Tshwane, where we tried and understand as to, we're sitting with unemployment as a challenge, and what is the role that we can play. We engaged with the graduates. It was from here, and we made sure that we can be able to see how to assist them. Some of those people today, they are in a better position. They can even create opportunities for employing other people. But this we couldn't do on our own. They also couldn't have done that on their own. We can only do this when we work together. And earlier on today, I was talking about a vendor proverb which says, "Munemuti autuse matutu," meaning one finger cannot pick up a maize kernel. And this only emphasizes the importance of working together, and also it highlights the limitation of trying to achieve something alone. Now, this is the essence of who we are as Metropolitan. We believe that when we work together, we can achieve more.
Just in our last few moments, you talk about Metropolitan being a progressive brand, and obviously with a rich heritage as well. How have you been able to sort of drive innovation for positive change in the brand?
Okay. So there's quite a lot that I can touch on. I'll talk to two quickly. First one is, a while back, we had a general manager who was white at the time where black and white were very much segregated. So we had the bathrooms which were written white only and the others were for black people. And then somehow one of the actuarial students went to the bathroom which wasn't meant for him. A black guy went, and then somebody reported him to the GM. And now when he was told to address the issue, he said at the time, "I will definitely address this. You do not have to worry." That evening, he removed all of the labels which says all black, and then, all white here, and then black people on the other side, which to me, it's someone who was not even forced by anything, but his own view was to say, how can we bring unity to the team that we have? It is an example of being progressive.
Yeah.
And then when we look into the innovation and the things that we have done today, and then this year in May, we have done the biggest system migration, which now allows us to move from the legacy system to be in the modernized system. And now this, as an example, will put us in a position where we'll become much more agile in engaging with the clients. And also we're balancing what we used to do during the legacy period, as well as embracing this fast-paced world to ensure that we do not lose out on that. But on the other hand, we want to preserve the past.
Peter, we have to leave it there for this afternoon, but I think you've painted us a lovely picture of the history, legacy, as well as the future of Metropolitan, and congratulations on the doors opening on the Metropolitan Museum. That was Peter Shigubu, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Metropolitan. That's all the time we have for you today. Ashraf Gada and his team are standing by to take over on the National Pulse. We'll see you tomorrow. Inshallah, God willing, we do it again.
Thank you, Bridget, and the team on the top stories. Dissolved SA Tourism Board considering legal action, and 39 people injured in a bus crash in Tanin. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good afternoon. The dissolved Board of South African Tourism says it's exploring various options, including legal action, following the decision by the Minister of Tourism to dissolve it yesterday. They say the